Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Brother Sister Show, a family-owned and operated podcast where two siblings keep in touch by talking about movies. This week, we're talking about Anthony's pick, Burning Cane. But before we get to that, let's talk about what we watched this week. Actually, let's not.
Okay.
I wanted, well, this is kind of talking about what we watched this week, but I want to start the top of the episode talking about something that Sebastian and I were talking about this week. And I just asked you about it, but I'm going to ask you about it on the pod. What is your favorite Disney, I guess Disney song, Disney movie song? How would you
Disney movie song?
Yes.
I didn't know the answer to this. I had to look up some stuff. It'd probably be like the more recent one would probably be You're Welcome in Moana. The Rock.
Oh,
you know?
really?
That one's pretty cool. I don't know. I don't really watch a lot of Disney movies.
I like the one in Hercules. I think it's called I Won't Say I'm in Love. That's a good one.
Oh. No, I like in Hercules, I like the one where it's like it's where you learn about Hercules. that song. Where it's like on the pottery art, you know, that they did. It's like all like animated, whatever song that is. I honestly don't even remember it, but that one's a good one.
That is a good one. Well, okay, so I bring it up because, and I'm glad to bring this up to you because it was a conversation. I don't know if you've had one of these before, where it was a conversation that me and Sebastian had that made me say, okay, I need to call my family. And so I did a group call because I was like, there's no way I'm wrong about this, which happens a lot.
Oh.
But okay, so what happened is we were talking about that, and I was telling about this TikTok I found, or I saw, where people were talking about Phil Collins and his soundtrack that he did for a specific movie. Do you know what movie I'm talking about?
No.
So I'll ask you what I asked our sibling, or Emily, because Homer didn't answer, and our parents, is what movie has where it's about a guy that's being raised by like apes.
What is apes?
Yes. This is your question.
I'm so scared.
I just need you to say it because Sebastian said that I say it wrong.
Tarzan?
I think you said it the way I do. Say it again.
Tarzan. What's wrong?
Okay.
Is it like Tarzan or something?
Okay, so I told him, I was like, oh, you know what? Because we were talking about this. Like, that's what caused all of this, is that we were talking about our favorite Disney songs. And I told him, like, oh, this TikTok reminded me that Phil Collins did a really good soundtrack for Tarzan. And he was like, what? And he was like, why do you say it like that? And I said, like, what?
What's the other pronunciation?
He said, why don't you say Tarzan? And I was like, that's what I'm saying.
What?
I said, what you're saying, what I'm saying is the same thing. And he was like, no, it's not. You like put the emphasis on the A, and you should just say Tarzan, not Tarzan. And I said, I'm saying the same. I said, I'm saying exactly what you're saying. Let me call my family. And when they answered, and they answered the question, and Sebastian started laughing, and I was like, they're saying it how I do. And I thought at the very least Mom would say it the way I do. But when I told them, well, I say Tarzan, and they were like, why are you saying it like that?
Tarzan?
And that's how you said it.
Is it Tarzan or something? I'm confused.
I don't know. I think it's Tarzan. No, I'm saying, I don't know. I don't even know anymore.
Tarzan. You know,
Tarzan.
When you said the two different like pronunciations, I didn't even think no. Well, I thought the difference was with the Z or an S, like Tarzan or Tarzan.
I think because I don't know. I say Tarzan, and Sebastian said no. I don't even know anymore.
Tarzan?
No, it's Tarzan. No, I can't say it.
We'll never know. We'll honestly never know what the other pronunciation is.
I think you said it the way I did, right? I'm so glad I did this on the podcast.
I'm not crazy, right?
Wait,
Tarzan.
Tarzan.
I'm also convinced I've never seen the entire movie.
I don't know if I have either, but I just
that's the hill he wants to die on. I mean, Tarzan.
But then I called my parents and I was like, "Oh, they're for sure gonna back me up," and they were like, "You sound fucking stupid."
I wish I was there because I would have been on your side on that one.
Yeah, I think I can't wait for them to hear it because I think you said it exactly how I did the first time you said it.
Tarzan.
That's how they said I was saying it, and I was like, "I'm not saying it like that."
It's just Tarzan. I don't know.
Okay.
Like Peter Pan.
There you go.
Tarzan.
Oh, wow. That's a good comparison. Okay.
Oh, not really, because Peter Pan's 2 words.
No, but like the way you said it.
Yeah.
All right. So what, other than that, now I want to watch it. Tarzan. I'm saying
Let's go watch Tarzan.
Tarzan?
I don't know. They're dumb.
And it's not even a word to me anymore at this point. Okay, sorry. Go on. What did you watch?
So it's been quite a while since we recorded for pretty obvious reasons for everyone in Texas, but didn't have any power. So what we tried to watch during the whole thing, because we were having rolling blackouts, was Ford v Ferrari, because it was my roommate's birthday. We caught like 30-minute glimpses of that movie. That's
the best way to consume it, I feel.
It was just like, it would have taken us probably like 11 hours to watch that movie. So we just stopped. It got so late. It? No, nah, I probably won't.
You could probably guess how it ends.
I've seen it before, but it's okay. My roommate's favorite, or one of his favorite movies, so we watched it.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
No, that truly is interesting to me. I would never guess that's somebody's favorite movie. This sounds really bad. I'm not dissing him. I'm just saying that's just interesting.
Oh, interesting. It's like that meme of Ryan writing down the names on his like. Interesting. So we watched some of that, and a movie we did completely watch is Constantine: City of Demons, because Kayla's been into all of the DC EU. I think it's the extended universe, so like all animated movies of the DC universe. Why are you laughing?
Because I don't even know what you just said. You said a lot of words and letters. And
it's just the
Constantine. Isn't that a movie that Keanu Reeves is in?
Yeah, where he's like a sorcerer, kind of. He's like an emo Doctor Strange, but in the DC universe.
Okay.
That was okay. A little upset with Kayla on that one because I've been telling her I think I talked about this. I've been telling her for weeks at this point to watch Batman Beyond, one of the greatest animated series of all time. And she's like, whatever. And my freaking roommate is like, hey, you should watch this movie, Justice League. What's it called? Apocalypse War or something. She's like, okay, and watches it like immediately. I'm like, what the hell? But it's whatever.
You just have a face that you just don't want to agree with.
Just don't trust you.
No.
How do you pronounce Tarzan? So a new show. We keep up. Oh my gosh. We've been continuing. Oh my
Jesus Christ.
I'm falling apart, man. I can't cut any of this too. Oh my god.
We've had a rough week.
Oh my gosh.
This is the first time I've drank water and
I haven't spoken to anyone except for Kayla and my roommates in forever. Kayla and I have been constantly watching Community. Every breakfast we just eat and watch Community. We're on like the 5th season after Donald Glover left. So it's like, whatever. But we just got to finish at this point because we're so invested in rewatching it again. But a new show Kayla found on Netflix, new to us, is Designated Survivor with, what's his name? I don't remember his name.
Kiefer Sutherland. The entertainment choices going on in that apartment, really amazing.
It's all Kayla. Well, that show, I got pretty hooked on it. I was one of those shows where I was playing games and it was just in the background, and I would just catch glimpses of it, and then I would just slowly start getting more into it and be like, "Oh no, he did not," one of those. It's pretty good. It's an interesting premise, everyone in Congress and the president in the White House pretty much just died.
Mm-hmm.
So Kiefer Sutherland is the new president. And it's just the aftermath of a huge bombing that killed a bunch of people. And I know you want to talk about this, so I'll save it. But besides all of what I've been watching, just a new update. As far as like entertainment wise, I think me, my roommates, and a couple of other friends are going to start playing D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that goes. I'm supposed to be the dungeon master.
Ooh.
So I don't know how that's going to go. I wanted to make a character, but no one else wanted to be DM, and it's whatever. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. A lot of research needs to be put in. So
I think one of my friends is what'd you call it?
D&D? No, Dungeon Master.
Yeah. And yeah, she said it's a lot of work. I don't know anything about it, but it does seem like a lot. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting though. Like I'm liking it. What got us into it is we went to this or for my roommate's birthday, we couldn't really go out, but we went to a small comic book shop where like no one was in there, and when they had this huge jar of dice, and Kayla and I have been wanting to play for a long time, and that's when we found out that our roommate wanted to play, and we were just like, we found someone, Kayla. So
that's exciting.
We'll see how that goes. What about you? What's new? What have you watched?
Well, the only stuff I can remember is what we watched during Valentine's Day. We had to start out, of course, with a web series that I worked on. Well, yeah, I worked on. I made the website, and it's my friend's series called Thirsty. It has 4 episodes. Thirsty.show. Yeah, and I hadn't seen those in a while, so that was a nice way to start our Valentine's Day, because we decided to watch just a bunch of rom-coms. I don't remember what exactly we watched, but I do remember that I made Sebastian watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which is one of my favorite movies.
Gotcha.
Of all time. And it was kind of, I don't know, he didn't say if it was annoying or not, but it's like a movie that is annoying to watch with me because I know like all the words.
What do you mean you don't eat no meat? I've never seen that movie before, but I know that line.
What do you mean you don't eat no meat? Yeah. Now Sebastian and I say it all the time. Yeah. You haven't seen it?
No.
It's on HBO Max. You should watch it. But yeah, that's all I can really remember. And then the week was just a blur. But the one thing I do want to talk about that you mentioned is I started watching WandaVision. And
do tell.
So I don't know why we decided to watch it, but Sebastian and I decided to watch, I think during the week of like the winter storm, and we just like binged that's not true. We took 2 days to watch all like 6 episodes, and they're like, well, first of all, I do have a bone to pick with it. I have one thing I don't like about it, and it's the credits. The credits have no business being 7 minutes long.
It's ridiculous.
I don't get it. Because Sebastian and I think the first episode, we realized it was done. Like the credits started rolling, but then we saw that it was like 7 minutes more. And so I thought, oh, maybe this is like a fake out because it's a TV show. Like, I don't know. And so we watched the full thing and nothing happened. And I was like,
y'all fools.
And then, but I'm actually very into it. This is the most surprising thing to me that I like.
What?
I like it a lot. And not even because I know a lot of people said like, oh, the one thing I don't like, and the one thing that'll make me not want to watch a series is when people say the first few episodes are bad. And, oh, you got to stick through it though. But I was hooked from the very first episode.
Interesting.
I absolutely loved it. I don't know if it's because I kind of knew what was going to happen. Not really. I knew like some spoilers, or at least one big spoiler. But yeah, I think it's a genius concept. I think it's very smart. It's very refreshing. It's very new. And it's truly what I think Marvel could be. That's what this is.
Yeah, it sets a good precedent for phase 4 and moving on in the MCU.
It feels very dark too.
It does.
What I've been reading about it, and I'm into it to the point where I'm like, after we watch. So this is kind of sad, but imagine I went to IKEA and they have like the meatballs to go, so we got one of those and we got a pretzel, and I was like, can we watch WandaVision? Or I think we were like, let's watch WandaVision while we eat this, and we watched the entire episode just sitting in the car. But after that, I was like, he was like, look up conspiracy theories while I drive home. And so we were looking up all the theories and I was reading it to him. And I was I haven't been this into something in a very long time.
Wow. That's exciting. I'm excited for you because
just the possibilities.
Yeah. It's like the one. Okay. We'll just get straight into spoilers. I don't really care. Are you caught up all the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait,
so
episode 7, right? There hasn't been a new one.
Well, yeah. What's the last thing you remember? I think I don't
reveal
remember.
of the villain.
Oh, of Agnes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. So the most exciting theory to me is that Mephisto might just like yoink those boys and eat them, like kids, or just consume them because they're essentially. I also don't know
who Mephisto is, and that's the coolest fucking name I've ever heard.
Yeah, Mephisto's pretty cool. I've seen a lot of.
That's one of the names that I'm mad I didn't hear before I had a cat.
Mephisto would have been good.
Yeah.
My roommate also said it might be Wonder Man. I don't know anything about him. I don't know if you read anything on him.
No.
But yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff. Kayla was really upset with the last episode because it was just a bunch of nothing. I didn't really like
what? A bunch of nothing?
I kind of agree with her.
How was it a bunch of nothing?
Like, we already knew everything that happened. We already knew all of that.
You knew about Agnes?
Yes.
I didn't know.
Well,
how did you know?
It's probably because you didn't watch it when it first came out. Like, the theories, like the main theory was that Agnes was Agatha.
Yeah, that's why we looked it up, because as soon as that happened, I was like, whenever that theme song started playing, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then Sebastian was like, look her up, because we had no idea. Or at least I didn't know. I think Sebastian did, but I was like, who the fuck is that? And when I was reading about her, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the timing and that's why I love it so much, but I don't think it was a nothing episode at all.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really like the Modern Family, like the beginning part where they followed.
That's just Wanda. Because Modern Family is bad.
yeah. Well, it just I feel like it didn't fit well with just Wanda in the beginning. Like, there was nothing.
That's the point.
That was nothing.
That's the
Whatever,
point.
Dude. It was so boring.
But that's why I like it so much, because it is a commentary. It's like so many things wrapped up into one show. It's serving an entire, like, what it feels like is it's pivoting an entire universe, and also it's like making fun of these shows. Like Modern Family, I guess it's in a good show. I don't know, but it is like that where. If you just watch one episode of it and count how many things happen. Nothing happens in every episode. Nothing happens.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know why. I can't believe I'm defending the show to you, but I love it.
I know that I feel like we're in an alternate universe.
Well, it's the multiverse. But the thing that, like, I don't know. I think what what I realized, the reason I'm probably really like this is because it feels like fans are coming up with these theories, or like, they're not coming up with them, but they're like figuring stuff out and it's actually happening. Like, if you don't remember about Game of Thrones, what happened there, that's a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like, you have all these theories, and sure, it's never going to live up to the hype what actually happens, but at least serve one of them. Just do one of them. And they did absolutely none of them.
Yeah, there's I think the thing that this show has going for it is the theories,
and it fits.
There's so many different theories that do fit. There's Magneto that might come.
I don't get that one. I've heard of that, but I don't get it.
So in the comics, he's the parent. He's the dad of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, right? I mean, even in the X-Men. Even in the X-Men, like Fox universe, he is. So the trend that in the episodes is the magic one, the black and white one, where they're like, oh, they're doing a magic show for the kids. The next episode, she has kids. In that episode, her kids ask her about her brother, and the next episode, her brother comes. Well, last episode broke that trend when Evan Peters, Quicksilver, 2 episodes ago asked or said, our parents would have loved this. So people thought Magneto was going to make an appearance because he's their parents. Or he's their parent. So there's that. People, I really thought that maybe not John Krasinski, but Reed Richards was going to show up in the last episode.
Who's Reed Richards?
Reed Richards is Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Stretch boy. Because in the last, or the episode before this last one, episode 6, who was it? What's her name?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. We talked about
Rambeau. She was like, I know a guy, or I know a.
Also, she has powers. What's happening there?
I forgot her comic book, like hero's name, but yeah, she got powers.
See, I think what you need to do is to be dumb like me, or not dumb, maybe ignorant of stuff, because that shook me too.
Oh, it was a good scene.
She had powers, the whole Agnes thing, but I think. What really made me love what's going to happen and made me like really excited for the next episodes is what they think. Like, I read an article talking about like why Agnes is doing this and going through some of the theories as to why, and like Mephisto is one of them, that they were lovers or something, and she's trying to get him back, something like that. But one really cool thing, because the thing that confused me a lot was when they saw when Evan Peters entered. I know he did, but then I was telling Sebastian, like, but I don't get like why him. Like, it confused me so much. But whenever I read about the multiverse, which I don't know anything about it, and in the article they said that Agnes. Well, first of all, since we learned that Agnes is actually the one that's controlling everything, and she might be using Wanda's powers to control it, that she is pulling, like, she's like manifesting, or I don't know how you say, like, but she's the one who's like making Pietro, like she brought him there, but she pulled the wrong one from the different like multiverse.
Right.
I know you probably know that, but that just like, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
The fact that he doesn't like, he has all the knowledge that Wanda's like that this Pietro has, but he doesn't have the look or the accent. And that explains why Wanda doesn't have an accent either. Like it like, I don't know. People that know about MCU are probably like, well, yeah, but like, I didn't know anything about this. And then Sebastian was like, and imagine like this if this is true, which it looks like it is what's happening, then this explains what's going to happen in Spider-Man and in the next, because the next Doctor, is it Doctor Strange? That next one is called the Multiverse, right?
Multiverse of Madness, yeah.
And they think that Doctor Strange is going to be in the Spider-Man one. And I was like, I hate that I am into this, but I think I'm into this. This is the phase that's for me.
It sets a really cool precedent, because if you look at, like, there's like all these jokes of how the Disney Plus will recommend you watch Age of Ultron, like after WandaVision, and we watched it, and it's just a completely different vibe, you know. I hate that. That's the only word I can use. It's just,
but it is, and I think that's
the tone.
That's everything. What I like, though. I think that's probably why I like WandaVision so much, because it feels like it's serving exactly what I like. And what I complain all the time about, I think Marvel should be doing cool shit, or DC, like all these, like superheroes are getting tired, but you need to find a way to revamp them, because they have long staying power. Obviously, they've existed for a long time, but you can't just keep doing the same shit. And that's what Marvel was doing. They were just putting out the same exact movie over and over again. And this is a totally different shift.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting. And I think that's why I like it so much. And also Catherine Hahn, come on.
Yeah. It's very exciting to me, because in the future, we're going to look back and be like, yes, that was a moment when the multiverse, like, you could argue earlier, whatever.
Did you say this before?
Did I? I might have.
I was going to say either you or Sebastian said that.
I might have done that on the podcast, but we'll look back and be like, yeah. This is the moment where it all changed. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Looking forward to next episode. Hopefully they get longer and the credits get shorter. That's so annoying.
When is the new episodes out? We didn't even know the newer one was out. Is it every weekend?
Every Friday, 2 a.m.
Okay.
So if you want to stay up, we did last time because we had nothing else to do. But,
no, I got to work.
No, we didn't. We woke up early and watched it, but
no, it's one of those shows that now that Sebastian lives with me, I have to like wait for him. And now I see why couples don't, like why one of them will watch it and not tell the other one. But I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, but also it's one of those shows where social media does not care about spoilers whatsoever. But when it's out, it's out.
I don't know though, because the only thing that was the only thing I mentioned before that was spoiled for me was the Pietro thing, was that he was back. That's the only thing that I knew. And I was on social media and people that I knew watched it.
Well,
so if you do want, if you listen to all this and you haven't watched it, then I guess it's kind of too late. But if you want to watch just a good TV show that has like good acting, and the MCU too, like I think they've always had good actors. They've always had like superstar level actors. I guess this is a hot take, but like when I think of great acting, I don't think of like Scarlett Johansson or Chris Evans, you know. But now they're hiring people that are like actually really good actors, you know.
Yeah.
Like I said, Catherine Hahn. Come on.
Well, it really feels like we're in a multiverse, because there's no way in our real reality we would talk about WandaVision in the MCU for like 15 minutes. Yeah.
I'm obsessed. I think it's great. And I any show that has Elizabeth Olsen in the middle of it, I love. She's a great actress.
Yeah. Well, do you have any movie news? There's the obligatory Zack Snyder new trailer for the Snyder Cut.
And it's continuing to be a parody of itself. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Also, what movie is that? That's a whole different movie.
It's completely different. It's ridiculous how how we got to see the movie that came out whenever it did. I don't even remember. I'm excited. Not excited for the CGI with Cyborg. That looked terrible.
What about the Joker? You see, we live in a society.
that didn't bother me. I don't really care. What bothered me is that Jared Leto? I'm just playing.
Oh my God.
What bothered me is that there's a poster or something where he's wearing like a crown of thorns.
Oh God.
It's like, what are you doing?
I saw this one. I probably said this tweet last time, or I said it to you, but I have to say it again if I did. Where this girl, I think her name is Hunter Harris on Twitter. You need to follow her. She's so funny. And she tweeted the other day, because Jared Leto got nominated for a Golden Globe. And so she said, what have you done today to make sure that Jared Leto does not get nominated for another Oscar?
That's funny.
Somebody needs to stop him. He can't keep getting away with it.
You know, I tried to not even recognize him. He wasn't even on my radar. The one other thing I want to mention, since you're into the MCU now, I can bring this up.
Well, tread lightly.
Big Hero 6 is rumored to be put into the MCU.
I don't
since
even
they
know
are
what that is.
Big Hero 6, like Baymax.
No
you know Baymax? Well,
is it the same thing?
Well, Baymax is in the Big Hero 6. It was like an animated movie where all those like nanobots. Oh my gosh! What the hell?
You can't. Okay, you can't get too excited. Okay, WandaVision is WandaVision. I'm not gonna venture out of that.
Well,
okay. Oh, we can talk about some heartbreaking news today.
What happened?
Is it? Oh, fuck, I already forgot their name. Daft Punk? Is that it? Wait, is that what they're called?
Oh my gosh!
Daft Punk.
You're shitting with me, right?
Is that what they're called? If it's not, you have to cut this out.
Little known band, Daft Punk.
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Yeah, they broke up.
I feel like you don't even deserve to deliver that news to anyone.
Did you not know that?
Of course I knew that.
Okay.
But like, I think this is their name. I think this is their name. A Daft Punk. Am I saying that correct?
Well, now I'm self-conscious because because Sebastian told me to say Tarzan dumb.
Tarzan. Wow. I thought Ashton Kutcher was around the corner. Like, Daft Punk. You ever heard of them? No, yeah, that's
Are you okay?
They're like 28 years, right, or something?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I barely knew their name, Anthony.
Why did you want to announce that?
I don't know.
This is a movie podcast. What the hell?
Because it was big news. People were talking about it. We have to be timely.
Oh my gosh. Let's just cut to the
music,
break.
Don't you?
Sad. Yeah, but whatever. I'm sad. I really thought you were messing with me because who in their right mind would question Daft Punk?
Because if you think about it, that's kind of a stupid name. So that's why I was like, that's not it.
Oh my gosh. To be fair, I didn't think there was another pronunciation for Tarzan. So.
Well, there you
go. Damn.
Let's just go to the break.
Yeah. I'll see you guys after it.
Amongst the cane fields of rural Louisiana, an aging mother struggles between her religious convictions and the love of her son in Burning Cane. Directed and written by Phillips Humans? God damn it, sorry. Starring Wendell Pierce, Karen Collivers, and Dominique McClellan.
As for how much it costs, we don't really know. I did see, though, it was Yeomans Phillips. They started a Indiegogo to raise money for it, so that's cool. Opening weekend, we don't know any how much it made because it released on Netflix. Hit the circuits, then it got picked up by Netflix. As far as how the critics received it, we got a 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb, 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 74% on Metacritic. And I just want to mention it because it like stood out to me. The audience review for this movie on Rotten Tomatoes is like a 30%.
Yeah,
not good at all. But I can see why.
They didn't get it.
Well, I mean, we'll see if you got it. We'll see if I got it. I don't know if I did.
Yeah, I don't know if I did either. But that's how you know it's good. All right. So we start with a story. So this story is said with the cadence of a poem. And I had to watch this a few times. This was the first movie in a while where I had to watch a lot of scenes multiple times. I don't know if that was the same with you or if you just played it through.
It felt a lot longer than just an hour. I was like, holy shit. Holy shit.
Okay. So in this poem, a woman talks about Jojo and his persistent rash. And at first I thought this was a child, but I don't know if it was said like that or if she made it clear from the jump that it was a dog, but it's a dog. She details every effort she made to help heal the rash, but it just wouldn't subside. She said that despite the rash, she wouldn't dare take him to the doctor. And this is like not just any, like I have eczema, so I get rashes, but like the way she was describing this one and how much detail she gave of what she tried to do for this rash, like I don't know what I would take it to a doctor.
Yeah, there was a ton of stuff, honey, vegetable oils, a bunch of mixtures of stuff. I also thought it was a kid, but then she talked about tying it up on and
canes.
Yeah. So I was like,
wait, it's not a kid.
Probably not a kid.
But the reason she said she didn't want to take it to the doctor is because she knew that they would tell her to shoot Jojo between the eyes, but they couldn't tell her that Jojo had to die because only God could do that. So we already set I think her name is Helen, the main character, as a religious woman, because she will trust God before she trusts any doctor. So that's something that's super important throughout the movie. After this, we meet Reverend Tillman. He's giving a sermon to a small church about earthly possessions like clothes, cars, and he just kept saying toys.
Toys.
Don't save your soul. I don't know. I should have gotten the quote. I thought I would remember it, but then we didn't record that week. But he just kept saying a certain quote.
Oh.
Do you remember? It was like things don't save your soul, something like that. But relationships do, and especially the relationship that you have with God. So basically, I think it's just a thing, like a common thing that people teach, that things don't matter, people do. And that's just what his sermon is about.
Yeah.
And while he's preaching, we see shots of the Reverend drinking out of a flask and swerving down the road while he's driving.
This movie does this a lot. I don't know if some could argue it's to a point where it's annoying. But where it's the audio will extend over a different clip.
I like that though.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I really like it. It just adds a complete new level of depth to the character, because he's not preaching, or he's not practicing what he's preaching at all.
Exactly. See, and it's the embodiment of something I feel like I say every episode, is that they show us and they don't tell us. Yeah. Where you could already tell that this Reverend has a lot going on, and that he's maybe, I don't want to say he's a bad person. Well, he's drinking and driving, so I guess he's a bad person. But they set up this character as you just know exactly the kind of person that we're going to meet with just a few minutes and just a few scenes. Which, I only have one fun fact for this, and I guess I can say now because it kind of informs a lot of my opinion. Well, not really, but it's something that we should all know. I think at the base of our brains is that the director of this movie is 19 years old when he made this. And I don't think this was a bad movie at all, especially when you're thinking, like, a lot of the reviews that I read, they had this one main theme that I do agree with, that this movie feels like it's coming from a complete adult with a complete vision and a complete sense of style in their filmmaking. And the fact that he was 19, like, this feels like a very mature movie. It doesn't feel like an imitation of an adult. Like it feels like an actual filmmaker, you know?
Especially with the just very unique style of framing and just angling the camera. It's just I haven't really seen a movie that does that as consistently as this movie does. It's a very interesting choice. I don't know if I would do it personally, because it kind of bothered me at some points because
some of the framing.
Yeah, some of the framing. We'll keep on going, and I have some mental notes of which ones did.
Okay. All right. So after this, we officially meet Helen and her son Daniel, and they have a really short and harsh conversation about his dad, and how he says that he can't compete with his dad, and his mom's like, "Well, he died of AIDS, so like, you shouldn't have to compete with them."
There's a funny line where he's like, or she says, "You know, your dad's a hoe," or something like that.
Very interesting conversation. I was like, did I put this? Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is my first shot, whereas, it's probably one of the only ones actually, where it bothered me because we were framed behind Daniel's right shoulder, and his shoulder was covering pretty much the entirety of his mother's face, and I don't really see the reason why. I don't know why this movie it stood out way more. Just the actions, I think, because it is so different.
But for one, I think it does tie into the theme of this movie, and two, I do like it because I like anything that takes you out of it like that. Because if this were any other movie, then you would have never noticed that.
That's very true.
So I do like, to bring up again, WandaVision, that it like is breaking a mold of what you think the movie of what you think a frame should look like.
Right.
And also, we're going to talk about it, so whatever. But a big theme of this movie is religion, right? And it's about how women and men are viewed in the context of religion. And so I didn't even notice this until you said it, but it does fit within that theme of men. No matter what kind of man you are still above women. So it doesn't matter what he's saying. It matters that it doesn't matter that he's talking. It matters that the woman is being quiet. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. But you know what I mean? Like,
she's being covered up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's by his shoulder.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that she's older or that she's his mother. She's a woman. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess
I don't know if we're reading too much into it, but that it makes sense for what I think the movie's about.
Yeah, it does. It didn't bother me. I was curious as to why. It was very, very distinct choice.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
All right. So after this, we see Daniel again, but this time he's with his son, Jeremiah. This is when I first noticed the camera angles. And I really love the way he frames certain scenes. I love, and I think I love it for that reason. There's sometimes where I can't like read into what frames mean, especially for movies. I have to like dissect them. But I did like I said, how it breaks the mold and how they're so different. Right. And I should have noted like exactly what this frame looked like, but it was so weird. It was him, like his son was sitting and he was there and the camera was like angled down at them. Like it was just really weird, but I really liked it. Like it made the house look different. Like I didn't feel like I was in a house. It felt like I was like watching them. I don't know. I feel like I wonder if there's something to do with his angles and like the religious aspect, like God looking down on you or something.
Maybe. I can't remember distinct framing where the camera had really low angles.
They did do a lot of that like hiding of, I feel like now I'm thinking about it, they did hide a lot of the women in the movie. Like the next thing I'm thinking of is how instead of like seeing the mom wake up, go to work, get ready, like all that. We just are peeking through the curtains and we see Jeremiah playing. We follow him at like, we don't follow her to her car, but when Jeremiah is playing on his scooter, we follow him all throughout the house.
All right.
So like, I wonder, and also if I'm right now, I could picture exactly what Daniel looks like. I'm trying to picture what Helen looks like, what her face looks like, and I can't remember.
Towards the end, you can see a lot more of her, but Jeremiah's mother, I have no idea.
No idea what she looks like, yeah. But I know exactly how Jeremiah looks. I know exactly how Daniel looks, and I know exactly how the Reverend looks. So, like,
yeah.
I mean, now that this feels like a movie that you have to talk about. So I'm glad we have this podcast because I wouldn't have otherwise thought of these things. But
yeah, I would have just set it down as a movie that
I didn't like.
No, well, I liked it, but a movie that I'm upset that someone younger than me made.
Oh no, I'm saying I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have liked it if I didn't think about it.
Gotcha.
Is what I'm saying. But yeah. All right. So after this, Helen tells us another story. This time, it's a pretty dark story about the pastor and his late wife. Wait, sorry. I went ahead one more. So after this, there's a sweet moment after we follow Jeremiah while he's playing. There is a sweet moment where Daniel's dancing around with Jeremiah, and then Daniel gives him a swig of his alcohol, which I was like, oh.
I think even before that, he gives him some alcohol the night before.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. But it was, they look like they're having fun. And then Jeremiah's like a really quiet kid. He doesn't, I don't know if he says like a single word throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And his dad is just not having the best time with alcohol.
They're dance, like they're like barely moving.
Yeah. Kind of weird. And this is when Helen tells us a story about the pastor and his late wife, and how she found out basically that the pastor, I don't know if, I think it's Reverend. No, I think she calls him pastor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with the term, so apologies if I mix them up.
I think she calls him pastor.
Okay. So he beat his wife so badly, and he said he didn't remember it. And all he remembered was that he woke up, went downstairs, and she was cleaning up her own blood.
Ouch.
Yeah. And one thing I really loved was this. I really love the way that this movie did those kind of scenes, like from the beginning, and then this one. I think at the end she had another one where these like really dark stories that she's telling have such a big impact in how and like their visuals. That makes sense, like it just, I had to, like I said before, I rewatched it, that part, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I don't know. It just, the way that this was all done, I would have been so scared if I was this filmmaker to sound like cheesy, but I'm thinking of movies that have done exactly what he did, but did it in a cheesy way.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Where it's like the voiceover that's like I don't really like voiceovers like that, but this one is so different that she's not saying like, and then after we went there, we went here. You know what I mean? Like it's not, it's telling totally different stories. I don't know. I'm not articulating this well, but I like how it's not just like exposition of what's happening. It's giving you little tidbits that you need to know about each character, about like the story at the beginning ties towards the end, and this Reverend story like gives us more background. Like, I loved that.
Yeah, I think there's one where it's like perfect in this movie to me. I'll talk about it.
Right. So after this, Daniel is just downing alcohol at a really scary rate. And the kid is pretty, I mean, he looks like he's oblivious to it, but I think it's one of those things where now it's kind of normal to him, but when he gets older, he'll start to realize what exactly was happening.
Right.
And this whole time we've cut back and forth from, like you said, from the church to the family. Like we're just cutting between different stories. But now we're at the church where the pastor is complaining that he's complaining to like, I think some woman that works there, that the church is dying. And the people that are at fault for this are progressives that basically let kids be themselves. And he complains about something that we can already tell, that he basically just doesn't believe in his own sermon anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's giving him a hard time and making him like resort to drinking a ton. After this, Helen, she meets the pastor at his car and offers to drive him because she can tell that he's drunk. But he basically tells her that Jesus will take the wheel, and he shoves her off his car.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense shove. And
Wendell Pierce in this, by the way,
he's fantastic.
So good. So good. And yeah, I mean, he seems like a nice man.
I mean, if that story had any chance of being not right, this confirms it.
Well, also, I didn't even realize, like, I think I should have realized this, but whenever she was telling the story and she said that the pastor told her that he like blacked out, I thought she meant that he blacked out in a rage. But now I'm thinking that he was also a drunk whenever he was an alcoholic whenever his wife was alive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That must be intense rage to just like.
No, because I've heard of that before, but then I was thinking like, oh, maybe he probably just lied. But now I'm thinking he just got really drunk.
He was just real drunk, yeah.
And then Helen is at home later. She gets a call, and guess who it is? It's Reverend Tillman, who is drunk, who is too drunk to drive. So I think police like called her or something. And so she picks him up and she drives him home.
Yeah.
And now we're back to Daniel and his son, where Daniel is making him pour out Daniel's making Jeremiah pour out every last drop of the beer cans that he's drinking from into a glass, which is pretty sad thing to see, especially because Jeremiah just like he knows exactly what to do.
Yeah,
so
it's not his first time.
Yeah. And then he ends the night puking yet again. This just doesn't seem sustainable because he looks like shit. And then Daniel mixes something into his son's drink. I think it was like his milk.
Yeah,
and
he
I'm
mixed
assuming it was
some
alcohol. I don't know if I understand this. Why? I mean, he's drunk, so I don't know if he understands it. But why give your kid alcohol?
I don't know. I mean,
but I mean, if we're gonna go into the religious context of it, I mean, there's not an age limit on taking the Eucharist, is there?
There is not. Well, I mean, you have to
diluting it.
You just have to be
confirmed or not confirmed. You just have to have your what is it called?
I completely forgot what it's called.
It's not confirmation. What the hell is it?
Oh my
Baptism,
God.
something, confirmation.
Fill in the blank. Y'all do it. First, like you have to go through the first communion. You like have to go through it. Like, so there's kind of an age limit, but it's probably around Jeremiah's age.
Yeah. So, I mean.
So if he's not drinking it at home, he's drinking it at church.
Jeez. Well, there you go. And also, if it's not actually wine, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to offend people, but I mean, it's in, proof's in the pudding. After this, Helen calls to confront Daniel about losing his job because I think he was lying to her, saying that he's off of work or something. And she's like, I know you lost your job. And she lets him have it. She yells at him, tells him that, I forgot exactly what she said, but it was rough. And then she says, I'm going to go pick up Jeremiah. And so she does. And while Jeremiah's away, Daniel and Marcia, I think is her name, get into a really bad fight.
I thought it was Shelly.
Where did I get Marcia from?
I could be completely wrong.
I don't know. Him and the woman that was living there, they get in a really bad fight. And then Daniel comes to stay with Helen after that, and he tells her that he feels unwell. The next morning, he doesn't wake up, and I thought he was dead, but it just looks like he just he almost drunk himself into a coma is what I said, because I truly thought he was dead. And then the next scene, he just woke up, and I was like, oh, he's not dead.
Well, before we move on, that was a scene where I felt like they did this perfect, where he's on the porch and he's drinking, and he gets up, and you can hear the audio of him and Jeremiah's mom fighting, And it's like this shot stands out because they don't use anything like this in the rest of the movie, where it's like he's on a track almost, and the camera is like panning away, but he's following it, and it's just so smooth, and it follows his movement. And you could just hear, because he breaks his guitar, or a guitar you see later in the room, but that shot, I don't know why it just stood out to me. Just speaks so much to Daniel, even though we already know quite a bit about him. But
yeah.
So I like that one a lot. It's probably my favorite sequence of the movie.
Yeah, this just has like a lot of interesting visuals that pair with really great dialogue. And after this, Helen has two very interesting conversations, one with her son and one with the pastor. So Daniel talks about how much he hates when his wife asks if he's getting a job or not. And he complains about how she doesn't see all that he does around the house. And mind you, we saw what he does, and it's not really much, you know?
Yeah, we saw him make a shit ton of eggs for Jeremiah, like way too many eggs. And we saw him fix a toilet so he could throw up, or he could flush down his throw up. Those are the two things we saw him do.
And he says, I hate when she asks if I'm getting a job. Well, are you? Like, how is that insane to ask?
Don't call me out.
And then after this, she sees the pastor to ask like what she's going to do about Daniel, about what's happening. And he says, just keep it in the family. No outside influence, just her and God. Because I think she's implying like maybe he needs help, but maybe I should take him somewhere. And he's like, nope, just you and God.
Well, in our conversation with Daniel, she asked where Shelly went.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's gone, apparently. And scary. Keep on going.
And so after this, Helen sings a very haunting rendition of Swing Low. And I think it's from the beginning, no? No.
Swing or sing?
Oh, I don't know.
You put sing, but you said swing. I just want to clarify.
I want to say swing.
Okay.
I think I just typed it wrong. But she's singing whatever song she's singing. I just love that scene I love scenes like that are very, like, the only way I can describe them are very still, where she's just, I don't know I forget what she's doing. I know she's in the restroom. She's doing something.
I think she's smoking, no?
Yeah. And it's just like a shot of her while she's singing.
Right.
And then after that, she goes and takes her shotgun and she shoots. And then the movie ends.
Good movie. Like, I think straight off the back, I was like, what the hell happened? It felt like so long, even though it was only an hour.
Yeah.
But I think Daniel is the dog, and the rash was his alcoholism, and she had to put him down because I think it was implied that he killed Shelly. Kind of how.
See, I never thought that, but now that you bring it up, yeah.
Like how the Reverend did to, I don't know if he killed her, but did to the wife. And that's why she like asked him, because he'd been through something like that. And he said, keep it within the family. So she put down Jojo, the dog, which is Daniel.
But didn't they mention Jojo? Didn't Daniel ask about Jojo?
She had mentioned, I'm saying like in the metaphor, Daniel is like Jojo. Jojo does exist because she was like, I don't know what to do about this dog. I've tried everything. And he had mentioned
we never
to try.
See it though.
We do never see it. But Daniel, like, it's not just one character. Daniel also is like, oh, you could use motor oil to fix that rash. Well, you're just rubbing a bunch of shit over this dog.
That's probably what's happened. Like, that's probably what's causing the rash.
Yeah, but I didn't come to that conclusion by myself. I had to look at a bunch of reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. So I'm not that smart to come up with that. But
that is interesting though, because I was going to ask that is, who do you think she shot?
My first thought was the dog.
That's what I thought too.
Could be
But
herself.
I don't think so now. I don't think she... I mean, it's a shotgun.
What do you mean?
Isn't it hard to do that?
To shoot yourself with a shotgun?
I mean, let's not talk about logistics of shooting
I don't want to do that.
I think it was... I don't know. I want to say... I mean, now that... I truly didn't even think until right now that we never saw the dog.
Yeah, we didn't. She spent a great amount of time talking about it in the beginning. But we really
like you said,
did.
yeah, the metaphor does... I mean, yeah. It sticks. And I think... Because then another question I was thinking is like, well, what is the Reverend there for then? But I'm wondering if the reason that she's pushed to do that is not just because he tells her. I mean, she said from the beginning that she doesn't want to take the dog to the vet or to the doctor because she knows what they're going to say that she needs to do, and that between her and God. And that's what the Reverend, he says that again. But also, I think she sees what the Reverend is turning into. I mean, she has to drive him home.
Yeah.
So I think that pushes me to think that she killed her son, that she killed Daniel because she sees what he's going to turn into.
Yeah.
And it's not just I mean, the Reverend is just him, but he has a kid.
Right. I think I needed people to understand this movie, but I think it was it's a good directorial debut. It was definitely unique, like you said in those reviews, and I read them. Very distinct style, and it feels very mature. Very jealous because I'm only like 3 months younger than the guy who directed it. But it's awesome. That's awesome that he was able to do this.
All right. Well, we can end it with my favorite summation of this movie because let me go on a little tangent though.
Okay.
Where I feel like as soon as I finished this movie, I was like, I didn't really care for it. I was like, I don't know if I understood. And I know a lot of people will talk shit about, maybe not talk shit, but they'll be like, well, if you have to look up what's happening in it, then it's not a good movie, which I don't know. I mean, I don't agree with that because I do really like it now that I've read about it.
Yeah.
And people told me like what's happening, you know?
Tell me how to fail. Just do it.
So, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think I think that's what I really love about this though. Like you said, like if I was thinking of a 19-year-old that was going to make this movie, then at least me at 19, I won't put it on somebody else. I'll say me at 19. If I was to make a movie like this about such a huge and heavy topic, it would be very bad because it would be too... the only thing I can think of is too on the nose.
Yeah.
No, it would be too like... If I don't know, it just wouldn't be as metaphorical and as artistic as this one is. So I think that's why it really works.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't read this. My favorite summation of this movie is by Glenn Kenny of The Times. He says, quote, "Burning Cane is short and difficult. It does not aspire to entertain. Its realism is shot through a constant dull ache."
Yeah.
Which I think
Close
is a
quote.
fantastic way. Oh yeah, sorry. Is a fantastic way to summarize that movie because I think that's why I first didn't like it. And then when it said that, when he said it does not aspire to entertain, I was like, yeah, you don't have to. Movies are meant to do that in a lot of capacities, but this is a story he's trying to tell, and I think he did it perfectly.
To entertain, to persuade, and to inform.
Oh my God.
Well, one thing I want to mention is while I was watching this movie, the first part or majority of this movie I watched on my phone.
Okay.
And there's a scene when the Reverend's giving one of his sermons. It's about where he talks about the devil. Well, first things he says he's not going to call the devil by his name, and then calls the devil by his name in the same sermon. But it's like a handheld, like there's a little shake to it, to give that, in person feel, and I don't know if anyone else has done this before, or if you've done this, Livia, where you move your head in the same direction as the camera, so it's like still. It freaks me out.
No.
Where you match the movement of the camera either with your head or with your hand just by being still.
I've never done that.
To where the shot is still, but it's not supposed to be, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's just really weird. It happened to me during this movie. I just wanted to bring it up.
Interesting.
I stumbled through that, but you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think this is a good pick. I don't know if you meant to choose something that would make us think.
I wanted to pick a short movie, but it felt longer than others.
But I liked it a lot. I think,
yeah,
I like a break in movies when you have to. I think the last one I can think of that we watched that was like This Was Burning, where I had to do a lot of research and a lot of like connecting shit. And sometimes I don't like those, but I think this is a good time to watch those because I don't know. I like to learn about stuff and I want to be compelled to research things, and that's what this movie did for me.
Right.
Alrighty. And this felt like a me pick, so I'm surprised that you picked it.
Hey.
But I'm going to be back on my bullshit, and I'm going to pick something that's I think is going to be very weird.
Well, before that, what prop would you steal from this movie?
Oh, good question.
I'll answer before that.
Yeah.
I would, if I could, I'd steal Reverend or Pastor Tillman's car.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a cool car.
Very cool car.
If it had to be limited, I would want the record that they dance to.
I was about to say that.
That's a good song.
Yeah, I'd want the record.
Something Hot Tamales. I don't really remember what but yeah, I'd take that.
All right, are you ready for my pick?
Yeah.
I will be surprised if you ever heard of it, Anthony.
Okay.
All right, so it's on Hulu, and it's called Possessor.
No.
Came out in 2020. Here's the synopsis. Possessor follows an agent who works for a secretive organization that uses brain implant technology to inhabit other people's bodies, ultimately driving them to commit assassinations for high-paying clients.
Oh, I have. Okay, I just looked up and the picture with the lady who's okay. I've seen that before. That's a creepy ass still.
Yep.
I'm excited. David Cronenberg's.
Who's that?
Oh, is this? Never mind.
What?
I just read. Never mind. I'll cut this out. It's fine.
It's also not the director's name.
I see David Cronenberg's son shows he has a will of his own. So I guess it was directed by David Cronenberg's son.
Oh, who's David Cronenberg?
I don't know. I just read that from a Variety article on this movie.
Okay. Alrighty. Possessor on Hulu for next time. I think it's okay. I will say I don't know anything about it. All I've heard is that I think it's pretty gory or has like body gore. So if you don't like that kind of stuff, then be warned.
Okay, and go check out this little known band that kind of broke up.
They're
called
up.
Daft Punk. Check them out.
That's DAFT PUNK.
2 syllables.
I got so scared that I spelled that wrong.
You were scared for the wrong reason.
All right. Oh, let's plug the social media that we never plug. We're on Instagram at Brother Sister Show, Twitter at Bro Sis Show. Follow us. Send us voice memos of how you pronounce Tarzan.
Yeah, because I really want to know the other pronunciations.
I want to know how the other half pronounces Tarzan. Alrighty. Let's end this. Goodbye.
Bye.